Good morning and welcome to Brunch with Brian. And sometimes I come on this earlier time, and this is the time I used to come on more often, and less of you are here. So I'm trying to regulate my times, and it may be that I just go back to just doing the later because more of you guys are here. But today I want to talk about trial and error in your business. So trial and error is a big thing in business. It's a big thing in marketing. It's a big thing in success. In fact, the only path I'd go so far as to say that the only path to success is trial and error. If you want to make a lot of money and you have not made a lot of money before, and nobody ever taught you how, you have to learn certain techniques, you have to learn certain strategies, and then you have to apply them in some other market. Now, the person who's teaching you, did they, are they using those exact same strategies in your exact same market or in a very, similar market? Or are they doing these kind of strategies, whatever they're teaching you, all around the country, but sort of differently depending on the different area? And that's kind of what we teach. So there's 7 different ways that you can buy and sell a house. And I want you to be smart about it. I want you to understand all the different ways. And certain types of deals work much better in certain areas than other areas. And one of the lines of demarcation is this 1% rule. It's a formula, and it's a really simple formula, and that's, rent equals 1% or more of the value. So that doesn't apply in a lot of areas, and it may not apply where you are. It doesn't really apply in Phoenix, where our main farm area is, where most of the houses we bought are. But in other areas, Phoenix priced out. When we first started buying houses in Phoenix, we could buy a house for 160,000, 100 and 200,000 and still have a nice house. Nowadays, here you can't really buy houses for about double that. So it changes the paradigm. However, there are still a lot of parts of the country where you can buy houses for under 100,000 and have them be livable, nice houses. Yes, sure there are. And so that means there's a lot of areas where this 1% rule works, but you have to be smart. You have to understand through trial and error what's going to work. And sometimes, one thing that we're focusing on a lot now is working with agents. So in some areas, the agents seem to be a lot more helpful and cooperative and bringing us deals. And then in other areas, it's not that's not so much the case. Some of that is just, look at the markets and look what's going on. And the luxury we have now is that we can cherry pick a market. So we don't have to just invest where we are with virtual investing. And you guys know we created this program called Deals at a Distance. It's a whole system on how to do deals, far away from you, and do our types of deal. Now, my favorite kind of deal, as you guys know, is a creative financing deal, cash flow deal, seller financing deal, that type of deal where you're working with the seller to get some kind of financing. Now, on these lower priced houses, some strategies, like I said, work differently in different areas. So if you have houses around you that are $100,000 houses, and you can buy them through and have some kind of a private money source, you could buy houses for cash too. Now, there's 2 strategies there. Do you want to buy and flip, or do you want to buy and hold? Do you want to hold on to them as cash flowing properties over a long period of time? So there's different strategies that do work differently, and there is a level of trial and error that you have to go through, like what's going to work where I live, what's going to work in that other market in Columbus, Ohio that I want to work, what's going to work there, and how are you going to find out what works? Trial and error. You're going to try stuff. And now, fortunately, now somebody's got to go through this trial and error phase, and it doesn't necessarily have to be you. So if somebody has gone through this trial and error and figured it out mostly, then you rely on what they have. And so that's pretty much what we've done, with our what to do system, what to say and what to do system. We've done the trial and error. We figured out the scripts that work. What do you need to say to people? How do these deals need to be structured? And in the what to do manual, you've got all those step-by-step checklists that are so important. So we figured out, we've done a lot of the trial and error, but we haven't done it for you. So you haven't made these exact calls. You have the script we use, but it hasn't been you, and it hasn't been you today. So that's where your trial and error starts to come in. So good morning, Isabel. Thanks for being here. Morning, Caleb. Hey, great to see you. Lori's here. Good job, guys, getting here. So guys, have you tried trial and error? What is a good example of trial and error in your business or in your past, whatever you've done that has been successful? Now, marketing is easy to figure out trial and error. If you like a mailer, okay, if you send out, 100 postcards or 100 yellow letters and, you get 0 calls, your trial and error proves that didn't work. So don't do that again. Okay. But if you get 10 calls and 2 deals, then wow, bingo, that's trial and error. So that obviously worked. Keep doing that. So trial and error, just write this down. Trial and error is just keep doing what works, stop doing what doesn't. Okay, that's trial and error. It's broken down that simple. So today on Teaching Tuesday, in a few hours, we are going to do a longer session on trial and error, and we'll talk about marketing, trial and error in your marketing, but also trial and error in your overall business. So what kind of deals work, what our realtors cooperative in this market, in your market, or in whatever market you're targeting. What have you tried so far in your business? Trial and error is always, that's how we make progress in life. Like Isabel says, your whole life is trial and error. We always go through trial and error, and now you're looking at a new business, this new real estate investing. And so now this is more trial and error to figure out what's going to work and what's going to make you a deal. So the whole, everything gets easier once you do your first deal, and then your second deal, and then you start to see, okay, that's the cookie cutter model. I figured out the trial and error part to the point where I've gotten one successful deal. So, and then you want to try to sort of create a cookie cutter model. But again, the reason that we teach 7 deals is we don't want you to be restricted. Don't think that there's only one type of deal. And sometimes people get stuck. They find one deal that works. So they found their one trial and error, and every other kind of deal they throw in the trash. I have a student like that down in Florida who only does lease purchases. His first deal, he did a sandwich lease purchase, and now he won't buy houses. Now there is some transfer taxes in Florida. They call them dock stamps. So you're paying some cost to close on these properties, which you can avoid by doing a sandwich lease purchase. But when you do a sandwich lease purchase, you don't own the house. You're not quite as much in a position of power. And unless you really write it properly, you don't get credit for the principal reduction. Now, if you do write it properly, you will get credit for that. So if you're ever writing a sandwich lease purchase, make sure you ask me. There's a couple of things I don't want you to make mistakes on that. So yeah, trial and error, keep what works, drop what doesn't. Yes. So exactly, live for Lord. You're on the right page. So let's think about trial and error in our business and in our life, and let's figure out what works, and let's get a deal done ASAP. Let's get those calls made. Are you making your opening calls? We talked about this over the weekend to make, go out on a deal meeting on Saturday, make seller opening calls, make good, strong realtor calls, listing realtor calls, and landlord calls. Those are all opening calls. That's ways that you can generate business without waiting around for sellers to call you. So that's, a lot of businesses, you put marketing out and you got to kind of wait for them to come to you, like a restaurant. You might put out some coupons and put up a nice sign, but if they don't walk in, you're not going to go grab them and pull them off the street. So, but with us, we can kind of go grab them and pull them off the street. They already, we think they might have a house for sale. Now there's another opening call called the off-market seller opening call. So if you find properties that are distressed, or in other that aren't on the market, that's another opening call you can make. So let's use trial and error. Let's try lots of different things in the beginning. Let's try lots of different ways to find deals. And in the beginning, it's sort of a shotgun approach, and then you sort of hone in. You figure out what's working, and then you hone in to a sniper, and then you are able to close those deals. So let's get a real machine going through trial and error. And join us for our Teaching Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, where I get to go into this a little bit more in depth in your business. So great being here with you guys today. Wow, that went longer than I had thought. And great to see everybody. I love it when you contribute and say good things. So let's keep on. Your brunch with Brian should be a part of your trial and error, learning this business and getting good at this business, and as well Teaching Tuesdays. So we'll put out an email, and I'll put a notification with the phone number right here as well. So our affirmation for today is trial and error for success. Okay, 3 times on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I use trial and error for success. I use trial and error for success. I use trial and error for success. Awesome. Now let's start deep breathing. Nice deep breath in. Hold it a little bit and a big smile and relax. Let it go. Relax your shoulders. Another deep breath in. Doesn't that feel good? Let's hit a heart and a love. And one more time. One more deep breath. Okay, great job. Great job. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Thursday, and let's have a great couple of days here. Let's take a lot of action, use trial and error, and I'll see you today, actually later today, on Teaching Tuesdays. So I will see you guys very soon, and use trial and error for success. Yes, so we'll see you this afternoon later on Teaching Tuesdays, and then as always on Brunch with Brian in the morning. Until I see you next time, keep expecting success, getting awesome training, and taking lots of action. Thanks.